Good afternoon, our Morrison, Oklahoma viewers and subscribers. Whether you're watching this in the morning, afternoon, or evening, I guess good afternoon, morning, or evening if you're watching the replay or not. We're here with Dan. He's going to go over all the pertinent questions that you need to know and answer internally and with Dan when you're getting a home loan in the Morrison, Oklahoma area. Dan, thank you so much for joining us today. This is super exciting. This is always super informative, and I just really appreciate it. Any updates before we get into the questions on rates, markets, crazy fees, or anything like that?
You know, it's ironic you bring that up. I'm actually meeting with Senator Langford's team and NAR and OAR representatives tomorrow at 10 o'clock on these these loan level pricing adjustments. So, you know, the Senator Congress lady, I hope I'm saying it right, Bice actually has a bill challenging the legality of it. And so it's ironic that you asked that, I think, because you didn't know this, but I'm very politically involved, and I have some very good examples of how this is not fair. So that's what we're working on right now, is to try to help get some explanation, because I was in a meeting just right before this, and they asked me, why was it made? And my answer was, you want my opinion or the facts? I said, the facts. The facts is I don't know.
It's to buy votes.
That's my opinion.
It's to buy votes.
Know. Yes, that's my opinion too, by the way.
Yeah, gotta love the world that we're in. We all got to pray for our country and pray for our leaders, whether we like them or not. We got to pray for them. So, wow. Yeah, that is a big thing, and that's super awesome that you're super active in that. That's amazing. Hopefully the legislature can get some answers with you and your help.
Yeah, or let us know why it's done. Give us something to tell people.
There's no good reason. There's no good reason. Oh man. But when it comes to getting a home loan, and when it comes to Morrison, Oklahoma, the questionnaire you put together is so amazing. And I love bringing this to our viewers in the different locations. And it's just so awesome. So I've got your questionnaire here. I'll put the questions up on the screen. And if you could just give us the rhyme and the reason for the question, because it's going to be super informative. I think it's really going to blow away our viewers when they see these questions. So the first question on your questionnaire is, what price range are you looking in?
That's actually right. We got all this stuff about AI. No, AI is not going to take my job, because you've got to understand the house is your biggest investment, and AI isn't going to look at. So the first question I always ask is, what's your price range? Seriously, you're looking for 150 to 200, 180 to 300, 400. Where are you looking at? Well, just you tell me. I'm not going to make the decision. I don't ask for a specific. I always ask for a range.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And the second question on your questionnaire is, what is your desired monthly payments? That sounds like a really important question, Dan.
Yeah, this is my educational question, especially a lot of first-time home buyers. Give you just a great example. A lady talked to me yesterday. She answered 350 to 400,000. Okay, great. Awesome. What's your payment? Your payment has principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. And if you're not putting 20% down or more, mortgage insurance. So what's the most desired payment you want? Well, $2,000. So you want to buy a $400,000 home with a $2,000 payment. And okay, so I write that down. I said, let me understand. So what's more important, the house? And I always go, which is more important, the 350 to 400 or the 2,000? 99.99%, the 2,000. That's why I write that. And then I go on to the next question.
And Dan, the next question is, what is your current monthly payments?
Correct. So this particular lady lived with her parents. So she's never had a house payment. And she's never bought a house. And she wants to go from $0 to $2,000. So I always want to know, what is the gap? If it's not that small of a gap, most people, I find, Josh, live paycheck to paycheck, unfortunately. They really do. And, you don't ever want to be in a position where, as a lender, you put in a person in a house that they're going to have a struggle with. But you want them to make that educated decision. Let them make it by giving them the questions that are not on what's called the application or 1003. That's why I came up with these questions, because it opens their eyes.
Absolutely. And Dan, I
Yep.
forgot, if anyone wants to get a hold of you, what's the best number they can reach out to you to have a deep, meaningful conversation about their home loan in the Morrison, Oklahoma area?
Absolutely. It's 405-822-0141. That's my cell. If I don't answer, send me a text. If it's between 7 and 7, I will return all texts. If it's after 7 o'clock, I put my phone away and spend some time with my lovely family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Question number 4. What's your down payment / where are your down payment / cost funds coming from?
Well, now it starts to bring everything to the loop. We know now what the house they want. We know what their price range they want. We know what their current rent is. So if there's a big adjustment, so where's the money coming from? Because the house is the biggest investment. Well, this particular lady said, "Oh, I heard there's these no down payment programs. I want to do one of those no down payment programs." I said, "Okay, so I'm hearing, but 2000 is still the number one thing you want, correct?" Okay, so I put that down, no down payment. Now you say, "Why are you asking all these questions?" You'll see in the end.
Next question is, which I thought is really a good question. How soon
Yeah,
do you want to move? I mean, we've got some customers that we've been sort of helping out for over a year and
yeah,
nothing's really happening. So that's a good question to ask too.
absolutely. Is what's your time frame? Is it this year, next year? Is it a month? Realistically, now here's the interesting one. This is typically the answer I get is, "That's a good question." That's the typical. Didn't think about that one. And usually, if it's a husband and wife, you hear, "Hey, honey, what do we think about it? Month, 2 months?" Well, that's kind of important to know.
Yeah, because that starts the ball rolling on your end, lets you know when you need docs. I mean, what's the point in getting everything right now if it's going to be 3 to 6 months later?
Absolutely, because it's expired. After 60 days, you got to really start all over again. After 90 days, 100% for sure. I always tell people 60. Why? Because if I go 62 days and you're in a contract and you got a 24-day contract, guess what? You're expired. We're gonna, like right before closing, we're going to start all over again. Let's not do that.
Absolutely. That's another great question. The 6th question that you have on your questionnaire, which I thought was really amazing. What's your number one concern in owning a home? And that's something I would have never thought of. What's the thought process behind that?
Well, the thought process behind that is, when people buy a house, they're naturally scared of something. And that's the something I want to find out. What is that something that is it they're only going to be there 2 to 3 years? They're going to have to raise their payment. How are they going to afford it? They might have repairs and stuff. The economy might go south, and what happens if my value goes down? I want to know what that number one thing is that's stopping them from going from 6 months to 1 month. What is that thing that's stopping them? Because you've got to make sure you address that, because, pardon me, this is their number one investment. And I assure you, they have concerns. If you do everything, you do all the work you get, and you don't address that concern, at the end, it could be, they could just walk away. So you've got to know, what is it? Some people don't have any, but everybody seems to have one. So get
Man.
it up front. Let's bring it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if payment's their number one concern, maybe that number's not the right number.
You're thinking just like me, because that usually is the number one concern. Well, I told you it's the payment. You asked me that earlier.
Here's a question that I never even thought to ask, but I'm not in the industry. You're in the industry. For the Morrison, Oklahoma home loan, people looking for a home loan, they need to talk with you about receiving childcare or alimony. Does that help them or hurt them? How does that work?
It can either help or hurt. Unfortunately, the reason I have to ask this is, other than the state of Nevada, guess who's number 2 in divorces in the nation? Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And we have a very high divorce rate in the state of Oklahoma. And alimony and child support, if it's not paid, and it's not paid well, and if you can't, I got a great example right now of a lady that had a mutual divorce. It's amicable. Everybody was great. And now she wants to buy a house. and she gets $2,300 a month. I said, that's great. Just show me the payment history. Well, it's cash, because if I show it to you, I have to report it on my credit, on my taxes, and then I don't want to pay taxes. We can't count it.
Oh my gosh. She never reported it. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my
Now,
gosh.
she did provide us the court-ordered documents, and they had a little handshake agreement that he would pay her. He goes, that's not fair, but I'm getting it. So I said, do me a favor, send me your bank statement. She sent me your bank statements. Where's the $2,300 deposit? Oh no, I'm not depositing it. I use that to pay my bills and stuff. I don't want any paper trail. If you don't have a paper trail, I can't count the income. The amount of house you went from here to here. She goes, I can't live in that house. Can't count the 23. But the nice thing about it is you can count it after 3 months of documentation. I said, ma'am, you told me up front you're 4 to 6 months out, right? You're still 4 to 6 months out? Yeah. Deposited. Well, then I'll have to pay taxes on it. I mean, you've got a decision. Your number one concern was moving your family out of the neighborhood into a place, into a better school, and be a homeowner and invest, right? Deposit it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
See
our
how
tax bracket.
they all just float in together.
Yeah. And she'll still be underneath the minimum tax bracket too, I think, because I think it's like 14,600. I'm not a CPA, but I don't think she'll have many taxes on it, especially with dependents.
No.
Your 8th question on your questionnaire is self-employed or any additional income. Is that like a cop who works at the Thunder games? Is that an example of?
You'll be surprised. People are right now struggling, and they're making, the policeman working at Thunder, the policeman working funerals, the pastor working weddings and funerals. But you ready for this one? DoorDash. All these little side where they deliver food, and people, you'll be surprised how many people do have little side stuff on it. Or what's the car one where you can get the car and you can Uber, Lyft. It's amazing how many people have that, and they don't even think about it. And lo and behold, they do file on their returns, and if they make some money, great, then we can count it. But here's the problem: a lot of them, like I give a great example, file on their returns and they take a loss. It's a tax deduction, but we have to count it. However, there are some loans where we don't have to count it; we can eliminate it, and that's why it's important. I know.
Wow. And then number 9 on your questionnaire, is there anyone else involved in the decision making? That is a great question.
Yes. Usually there's, not always, but usually there's always somebody else. It would be a wife, fiance, friend, mom, dad, financial advisor. The person gifting them the money has strings attached to it. I always say, is there anybody else? Well, yeah, my fiance and I, she's definitely not good. Get her on the phone right now. Let's bring her in. Let's make sure and go through then I'll go through all the questions again with the decision maker. And almost every time, I can't think of one off the hand where the answers are different. It's interesting. Bring them together.
And then property types, is that like duplex or townhome? What does that question mean?
Single wides, double wides, duplex, townhomes, multifamily homes, brick homes, earth homes, unique homes, log cabin homes. They're all condos that are non-warrantable. There are so many different property types. There's some loans that you can't do them. And some loans have really tight guidelines, especially in condos. And so let's get that out up front. What type of house are you looking for? Just a standard single family home? Great. But if you have other homes, they all have other strings attached to them. And you don't want to give somebody a pre-approval. They go right on a condo, come back, they're all excited and stuff. And then you get a contract, it's a condo, and you're like, oh crap. Oh, what do I do now? They got an HOA fee, and now they don't qualify, and it's non-warrantable. You always ask those questions up front. And they say, well, just single family, but we are looking at great. And I get the real estate agent explain what condo, what warrantability is, make sure they understand it. 9 out of 10 agents, I hate to tell you this, don't. And I have to go over that with them.
And there's a website that you could check each condo association with the government online.
Yep.
Okay, Department of HUD. Cool.
Department of HUD has a condo website. I always share that with the real estate agents. Rural Development Homes has a website. Home Possible has a website. There are so many different websites. And once I do that, I pick up the phone, call the agent. They're looking at condos. Do you understand warrantable, non-warrantable? No, I don't. What is that? Let me send you the website and let me explain how it works.
And is that in relation to your conventional loan products or just the government loan products on the condos?
The both. It can be
both. Oh, wow.
Yep, it can be
Wow.
FHA and it can be conventional. And there's a
Wow.
way, if it's not warrantable, unconventional, to apply for limited warrantability. You can do that, but you've got to have the condo association provide all their financial statements and stuff.
Wow.
So it's tough.
Yeah. Sometimes people have to pay stupid fees just to get a letter from them. So it's that would be crazy having to go through all that if it's not an approved one. And the last question on your questionnaire, which I thought was really important, because why pull credit if there's something they already know about? Is that kind of the basis for this question?
That, and one of the things that we do is we do what's called what if. In fact, I did a seminar this morning, a breakfast seminar with a real estate team, and I explained to them, and everybody raised their hand. Well, I got this customer. I got this. I go, and your lender didn't do a what if. What most people don't understand that anywhere, and you can read and Google this, anywhere from 70, 80% of people have errors on their credit bureau. And I always use my credit bureau as an example. Why? Well, somebody somewhere in my life made my name is Daniel E. Perreira. Well, they push the E next to the L. And so when I pull a credit bureau, I always get Daniela Perreira's credit on mine. And it stinks. And so whenever I do credit, I always hand people my passport and my ID, and they go, why are you doing this? I am not Daniela Perreira. Well, why? It will pop up. Trust me. It does every time. It's a simple fix. So everybody, not everybody, 70, 80% of people have credit challenges. In fact, I teach a class called What If, where we help, and I always ask people, I've never had one real estate partner ever say that they've had another lender do what I do. I cannot charge the customer, but I give them a report on their credit and what we can do in the next 30 days to raise their scores, if there is anything. If they follow that, and I pay for it out of my own pocket, they follow that, their credit scores will go up. And in most cases, it's something very simple. Most cases, it's something very simple. In fact, I just had one this morning, and she freaked out when I told her. She said, you want me to do what? I said, ma'am, let me guess. You went to Dave Ramsey. She goes, oh, how'd you know? Because you're very, very conservative, and you've just about paid everything off. And unfortunately, 0 times 0 is what?
Zero.
That's your problem. You only have one credit trade line. So I actually told her, I said, why don't you do this? Go to Costco. You've got a Costco revolve card or MasterCard, right? Charge something on it. Send us the new updated bill statement. You can print one off from Costco. We'll submit it to the credit bureau. And guess what? Her score went up 78 points. By buying $34 something.
Wow.
Because 0 times 0 is 0.
Do gas cards show up? Is that a good starter for the younger kids?
Gas cards used to show up. They do in some cases. I wouldn't count on it. There is a hierarchy in credit. And this is one of the things that I've always said is discrimination. The number one thing on credit, as far as a hierarchy as far as creditors, is a house payment.
Yep.
Your first-time home buyer is kind of hosed on that one.
Yeah.
Hence the word first time. So first-time home buyers have a lower base than everybody else. They don't have a house payment. The number 2 is a car payment, a major car payment, not a note and tote car payment, a major car payment through a bank or through, a major company. Number 3 is a Visa card or MasterCard, not a secured Visa card or MasterCard. I have so many people that go to some other lender and say, get a secured, it will raise your score. But a Visa and MasterCard that's not secured will raise it more and keep it under 20% and don't pay it off. Those are generally the hierarchy. Then below that is student loans and stuff like that. And, you know, a lot of first-time home buyers will have the Visa card. They'll have the MasterCard, and their credit score is 660, and they've never missed a payment in their life. Why is their score not higher? Well, they don't have a house and they don't have a car.
Wow.
So their base is limited. And I just explain that to them. And then I, through the report, show it to them. And look, if you had a house payment, and they're like, wow. So let's get you in the house right now. 6 months to a year, let's refinance, get you out of this thing. Unfortunately, I didn't make the rules. The credit bureaus did.
That's awesome. Wow. Every time this is so informative. I feel like I learn something every time we do it, Dan. If our Morrison, Oklahoma consumers and anyone in the state of Oklahoma has any questions when it comes to loans, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Hey, call me at 405-822-0141. And if I don't answer, because I'm with people and stuff, I turn my phone off, send me a text. I will return calls.
Awesome. Awesome. All our viewers out there, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to spread the word, share it with any of your friends who are out there looking for homes. That way Dan can help them with the loans. And of course, you can give us a call for all the real estate needs. We'll see you guys on the next video.
Go Pokes.